How y'all doing? My name is Michael Hicks. For my presentation, I chose to do teaching of sportsmanship uh, as a part of coaching. So I've done a little bit of research about some of the different things, and I've asked a couple of different questions of people I work with on their opinion about what they think actually kind of what they feel, I guess you could say, about sportsmanship, and if it's to do with the coaches or if it's something that has to do with character or with people back home. Just a little bit of my thought, real quick. I think that coaching is a great thing. I think it's a blessing. I think you have to be called to do this, and it's from God. I don't think that just any regular person can be a coach and be successful. I think that anybody has the opportunity to coach, but most people are not successful due to the fact that it's like a calling or a mission to me. Is how I've always felt that coaching was portrayed. But anyways, teaching of sportsmanship to me is a part of coaching. I think because when you really look at the true aspects of life and young kids and how they go through day-to-day things, I think that when you teach a young kid sportsmanship, it builds character for this kid. I know that it really ultimately starts as a young student, as a young a student of the game. I think it really starts also with the family. I think that you kind of depend on how you're raised or where you're raised and the household you live in. I think that that's how you're going to react and accept sportsmanship. Like I said earlier, I do believe in my heart that sportsmanship is a direct reflection of your character to a point. But I also think that some people have really good character but really bad sportsmanship, and I'll explain to you why in just a second. But as I spoke to a gentleman I work with here at the company called Plains All American, I asked, his name is Melvin Henry. I asked him, I said, what is your thoughts about sportsmanship in coaching, or do you think it's the coach's responsibility, or is it actually the family's responsibility to kind of guide their way to coach or to sportsmanship? And his specific words were this: he believed that it started in the youth program. It starts in the youth program, and he also thinks that it has a direct reflection of the actual kid's character while growing up. Now, it's kind of the same thing I said and I thought, but he also went on to state that there are multiple kids that he knows of that grows up in very poverty-stricken lives and very poor aspects of being a chance to be a great athlete on the field, but they have really bad character because they're not brought up in the best ways. So I think, young kids are going to be a direct reflection of how they're brought up. Well, that being said, Melvin went on to tell me that he thinks that coaches are also really responsible at the youth level for honestly making a difference in young kids' lives as sportsmanship to help to build the character later on in life. I also asked another gentleman. I did more interviewing to get some of my information, as well as I did a research topic that just came up within the last couple of days. I asked Garrett, and Garrett said he believed that sportsmanship was dealt with only coaches. The coaches are the ones that are going to give true sportsmanship knowledge and help the kids understand and become better sports of the game. He said because he thinks that the coaches are going to have more of an impact on sportsmanship than their family will, because some families have zero idea about how to give character, and some families have zero idea about the sport their young kids are playing. Most families anymore just let their kid play whatever sport, if they even get to do it anymore. So that was Garrett's side, and Garrett actually played college football at Abilene Christian University, so that was kind of an interesting thought. I chose this topic because I feel very, very heavy about this issue. Um, I grew up in a young child, as a young child playing playing football and learning how to play the game of football. I think that it helped build me to who I am today, along with other things and other accolades that I have been graciously enough to earn throughout my time of playing football and college football. Um, I do think that sportsmanship does build character, but I say it to this too. I don't think it's the main thing because when I'll be completely honest with you, I have really bad sportsmanship on the field, very bad. But I don't think my character is a direct reflection of my sportsmanship because when I get on the field, it's almost like I have an alter ego. I completely change of who I am. I play my heart out, and I don't care who it is or where it is or who they came from. I'm going to do everything in my power to take them out of the game, especially if they're better than I am, so that gives my chance or my team a chance to win. Uh, um, I think it's sad because that's the way I was taught to go all out. You get a personal foul, you get one, but if you're playing your heart out, we can understand and we can forgive that issue. So to me, I think that sportsmanship isn't a direct reflection of character because, like I said, I'm not perfect, but I think my character is a lot better than 90% of people that I've actually came across that has, really good sportsmanship. I've met some people that are really good at the game, have really great sportsmanship, but they just have a very poor character and poor judgment. So that's kind of my thought about it. Um, Kind of what are some specific ways that you can reinforce the value of sportsmanship? Ultimately, not allowing people like myself to thrive and feed off of multiple personal fouls. I think helping people up to me is a bad sign. It shows weakness, but I think that's false. That's what I was always taught. I think that helping people up is a good sign. I think sportsmanship needs to be more highly encouraged in the actual game. Truly, in my heart, I would rather help people up each and every day off the ground every time I tackle them and assist them in getting up and let them know that I truly care about them and that we're playing this game mutually and it's fun for both sides. So that's kind of one way. I think also by playing your heart out, but also knowing how to play at an intensity that most do not know how, but keeping your sportsmanship at the highest potential itself. And last but not least, as I was doing my research to find out some of these thoughts about this issue, I came across an issue the last 2 days that's been major in the headline of news. It's been the Little League Softball World Series about a coach out of Washington who decided to essentially fix the game, whereas he didn't play any of his starters in this game, thinking that if he lost, he could play the team that was not as good and advance on that game only because they had already beat that team prior. Well, he went on to essentially bunt almost every player that he could possibly allow to bunt, but he allowed some to swing, and eventually they went on to lose the game 8-0 on a no-hit game to a team that was not very good, that was pretty not, they weren't bad because they were in these playoffs, but they weren't the caliber of team that he was going to face if he had won. I think that shows a bad sign in sportsmanship. I think that gives bad character values of the coach and what he is doing. People want to say that, yeah, it's a strategy. Yeah, that's not strategizing anything to become great, to make sure your kids are being able to play to their fullest potential. I don't think that I could ever recall a time the coach told us, he said, we're going to go out here, we're really going to lose this game just so we can move on and play the easiest way and the easiest team to get to the championship so the hardest team can possibly never make it. Well, I think it shows a right and a purpose, and I'm a true firm believer in the ball never lies. That states for every aspect of the game. I think that if you try to cheat the game, it's going to come back and get you at the end of the day. And I'm glad to see the coach is not coaching at the next level. I just feel extremely bad for these young girls that have played their hearts out this whole playoff series to go to the Little League World Series to try to win a national championship, and now they don't even have the opportunity because of a decision. Coach thought he was making the best decision for them by not allowing his team to play the best of their potential. So that kind of brings me up to the point of sportsmanship is a part of coaching. I think that, as I stated earlier, not all sportsmanship develops character because, like I said, I feel like I'm a direct example of that. I think that there are multiple ways to reinforce sportsmanship. I think that, I think the coach needs to know exactly what he's getting into and how he's going to reinforce these before he actually gets into coaching. And as I stated before, coaching is a calling from God. It is not just, I don't feel like in my heart anyone can do. My name is Michael Higgs. Again, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. God bless and have a good day.